We all enjoy a good meal each time we are in a fancy or five-star restaurants, whether hanging out with our friends, families, or even colleagues at work. These restaurants are built to provide you with an amazing comfort and experience that you have never witnessed before. Here are 15 hidden restaurants in the world that will blow your mind beyond your wildest dreams. Welcome to Highest Luxury, the home of the billionaires. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe, and I know you can do that in less than 5 seconds. Thanks for doing that for me. Alright, let's get started. Number 15, Itha Restaurant. Despite being built on a private island in the Maldives, this restaurant was opened in April of 2005 and is located 5 meters below sea level. The restaurant is essentially a curved tank that offers a 270-degree panoramic underwater view. While dining at Itha Restaurant by the beach offers diners an amazing ambience, if the restaurant takes things a little further by allowing diners to eat underwater, customers can take in picturesque coral gardens and passing marine life as they dine. And now we must warn you that making a reservation in this restaurant is nearly impossible because there are only 14 seats, and reservations must be made far in advance. However, when you consider that its food and ambience helped it win the Global Restaurant of the Year award in 2017, we'd say that trying to get a table here may just be worth the effort. Number 14, Au Noir Restaurants. While most of the restaurants on this list will feature a beautiful ambience, Au Noir goes against the grain by taking this all away. Located in both Montreal and Toronto, Au Noir is a restaurant that shuts off the lights and makes diners eat in the dark. Now the idea behind this is twofold. The first is one sense of touch, hearing, taste and smell are amplified. Eating at this restaurant is truly a unique sensual experience because customers have a greater knowledge of what it's like to be blind, which is vital since it helps them relate better to the restaurant's personnel, all of whom are visually impaired, which allow them to better enjoy the food in front of them. And eating at this restaurant is truly a unique, sensual experience that you cannot forget in your lifetime. Number 13, the Bird's Nest Restaurant. When it comes to treetop dining, there are only few establishments that come close to this Bird's Nest Restaurant. This is located in sunny Vakiri Eco Resort, and it's being designed in the shape of a massive bird nest, consisting of just one table. It sits about 5 meters above the ground. While the open-air design gives patrons the impressive views of the surrounding beach, and it's well known for having exceptionally tasty food, however, given that the cooking in the treetops would not be advisable, the restaurant instead made the decision to have all the food and drinks made at ground level and delivered to diners via a zip line when it's ready. So if you want a truly one-of-a-kind experience, then this restaurant is the answer for you. Number 12, Robot Restaurant. Well, now we know the Robot Restaurant. You must have heard that robots are the technology of the future. Many times before in Japan, life-size robots are a thing of the present, and that's because, in the capital city of Tokyo, you can visit Robot Restaurant, which stands apart due to it offering a truly and crazy experience. After all, not only are you served by robots, but perhaps more impressively, you get to experience a sensory overload of acrobats, dancers, musicians, and massive machines dancing and singing in a multicolored, shining, and loud environment. And while this attraction may seem a little strange to many, it is a certain that you must see this whenever you visit Japan. Number 11, Karima's Aero Park. For most people, dining on board in an airplane is an uncomfortable moment of their lives. The bad food, long wait times, or lack of elbow room are all over. There are many things that work against the diner's experience. However, the owners of Karima's Aero Park have tried to shake that narrative by making dining on a plane a 5-star experience. And being located on the island of Bali in Indonesia, the restaurant is made out of the shell of a decommissioned Boeing 737 series airplane. And now, passengers can begin their experience by receiving a boarding pass and are then ushered aboard. The plane have crammed seats and tables that are well spaced, to avoid making lack of legroom a thing of the past, and from there, the diners can feast on cuisine from around the world, and once the customer are done eating, they can also pose for pictures either in the cockpit or on the wings as such if you're an aviation aficionado. Number 10, Ultraviolet Restaurant. Generally speaking, going to a restaurant is pretty easy. After all you have to do is to jump in your car and punch the address on Google Maps and drive over. However, at Shanghai's Ultraviolet Restaurant, the travel process isn't so easy. Being opened in 2012 by French chef Paul Pereira, a conscious decision was made to make this restaurant difficult to find, That's because rather than publish their location, Ultraviolet Restaurant keeps their address top secret. So how do they do this? Well, it turns out that the diners are first instructed to enter a shuttle bus, and this bus then discreetly brings them to the restaurant's hidden location. From there they file into a bunker that features a 10-person table and a whole set of screens and speakers. It is at this point that the magic begins, as you can see that each course is selected by the chef and has a set of visual, auditory, and sensory aids that go along with it, and be it an intense heart, racing music, or soft cool colors, these changes in ambience are designed to make each dish taste exceptionally good. These intense feelings are spread across 20 different courses, with Ultraviolet's team of over 20 wait staff and production crew members controlling every minute, unless you're willing to spend over between $600 to $900 just for one meal. Number 9. The Poop Cafe. While food and bathrooms are two things that typically mix, Toronto's Poop Cafe is an exception to the rule. That's because this washroom-themed restaurant takes the poop emoji to a whole new level. Being located in the city's Koreatown neighborhood, when customers come in, they first have to find a seat at one of the many toilet bowls on location. From there, they can pick a dish from a dessert menu, with each sweet treat being served in a miniature toilet bowl. And this cafe has a variety of washroom-themed touches, which includes bathroom jokes on the walls, plunger-shaped lights on the ceilings, and a sweets table, shaped like a massive toilet bowl. Meanwhile, it was noted that this idea isn't new, as Poop Cafe owner by name Lin Nguyen first got the idea after vacationing Taiwan to visit a toilet bowl cafe. The experience was so great that it prompted her to make another one in Toronto, and because of this type of restaurant was so far in the West, the new one she opened attracted a lot of attention. However, given that the reviews of the restaurant are pretty mediocre, it's fair to say that she just have to fix the shitty food if she doesn't want the restaurant's financials down. Number 8. Ingallera Restaurant. Generally speaking, most people try to stay far away from prison, but if you decide to take a trip out to Milan's Ingallera Restaurant, you can be fed by a group of men currently serving time behind bars, and it's located at the city's Bolate prison. With the exception of the head waiter and head chef, the restaurant is entirely staffed by inmates. The idea behind this restaurant is for prisoners to learn culinary and customer service skills that they can as well take the idea with them outside the prison, and this is amplified by the fact that the restaurant is a fine dining establishment. This initiative is possible because Malate Prison is currently the only open-cell prison in all of Italy, as it's one of the few in the world where inmates are allowed to freely move around and are encouraged to join work release programs. Interestingly enough, it turns out that the Bolate Prison's efforts are a force for good, as studies have shown that initiatives such as the restaurant have allowed the prison's recidivism rates to be far lower than the national average. Being that the Ingallera has continues to grow in popularity, the hope is that other prisons will see this model and hopefully decide to implement it. Number 7. Trabocco Restaurants. Now the story is getting interesting, and if you happen to like seafood and Italian cuisine, then you can't go wrong with taking a trip to Italy's Trabocchi coast, located along the Adriatic Sea in the province of Chieti. The region is famous for its vast amounts of trabocchi. In essence, there are complex fishing platforms that work by using an array of wide nets to intercept the schools of fish traversing outcrops along the coast, while in the olden days, these fish would have been collected and sold at a seafood market. Recently, many Trabocco owners have decided to convert their fishing platforms into full-out restaurants. And these restaurants operate by catching a wide array of fish during the day, and these fish are then served to diners who typically get to feast on a multiple-course meal, consisting of practically every type of fish in the area. While eating, diners are able to sit on the Trabocco itself, giving them a beautiful view of the sea as they eat. Number 6. The Rock Restaurants. While Zanzibar may not be a vacation destination that's on most people's radars, the Rock may just make a flight out of the country worth the trip, and that's because this restaurant is only but few in the world that's not accessible by land. Despite being built 4 years ago on a former fisherman's post, this luxurious seafood restaurant is fully surrounded by water at high tide, and it can only be accessed by either swimming to the island or getting paddled over in a boat. And once you're seated at one of its 12 tables made in the local Zanzibar architectural style, and this makes a beautiful dining experience. However, keep in mind that it's pretty pricey, and a 2-person meal with 2 cocktails will costed you around $90. And going by the beauty of this restaurant, we'd say that it's certainly worth it. Coming at number 5, the Caverns Grotto Restaurants. If you like a dining experience, then you may have to consider Caverns Grotto in Peach Springs, Arizona, and that's because the establishment takes deep flavor to a whole new level by serving its dishes 61 meters underground. And now the restaurant is located in a 345-year-old underground cavern and has been known to be the site of several prehistoric fossils. And while the cavern may be part of the United States' largest dry cavern system, the restaurant itself is not all that grandiose, as it serves up classic and American-style food to the patrons. And the Caverns Grotto Restaurants also gives a nod to its Gold Rush-era roots, by making its food go through an interesting transportation process. And that is because all the dishes are being cooked at ground level, as the food takes an elevator down to the cave, before being hoisted in 7.5 meters into the air on a pulley system to the raised dining room platform, which diners often report the auditory and visual experience of eating in a massive restaurants. And you have to bear this in your mind, that whenever you want something luxurious and fancy, the Caverns Grotto Restaurants is a place to visit. Number 4, the Sublimotion Ibiza. This widely Sublimotion is considered to be one of the best places in Europe to party, and when it was first opened in 2014, the island's reputation truly went through the roof, and that's because, as far as dining experiences is concerned, there are only few restaurants in the world that come close to Sublimotion. And on the surface of the restaurant offers a fine dining experience as its menu, which consists of a 20-course dinner that's spread across 3 hours. And this is served by staff consisting of 25 professional waiters, and being cooked by 2-star Michelin chef Paco Ranchero. And what really makes Sublimotion special is its incredible entertainment value. Every dish on the menu is meant to be complemented by a different set of visual elements. The restaurant has been outfitted with several virtual reality elements in order to heighten your taste. While its laser light shows projection, mapping in the room, or different animations swerving on the tables, shows that you can be sure that your taste buds will come alive when you are in one of the rooms. The ambience also changes throughout, as the scenes in the room switch between places such as the bottom of the ocean, a sexy 20th century cabaret, and in order to complete the experience, diners are handed a Samsung Gear virtual reality headset that immerses them in the mind-blowing fantasy, making it one of the most expensive and luxury restaurants in the world. Number 3, the Heart Attack Grill. Out of all the fast food places in America, none are quite as notorious as the Heart Attack Grill. Opened in 2006 in Las Vegas, Nevada, the owner and on-site chief surgeon John Boso actually created this restaurant as a massive publicity stunt because, rather than following the trend of creating a restaurant that served healthy food, John decided to do the exact opposite, by telling people things like "Don't come here every day of the week, if not, it'll kill you." Sound crazy, right? I mean, who does that to his own customers? I guess only the foolish one can. But this food has a taste that is worth dying for. John was able to take what he proposed in his marketing thesis in school and turn it into a national sensation overnight. And the reason why the restaurant is so famous is that it truly lives up to its standard. When customers come in, they're dressed in hospital gowns, while the waitresses dressed like nurses, which allows them to be weighed on a scale first. And if they come in at over 350 pounds, they get to eat free from there. And this allows them to choose between a wide array of massive burger and fries options. The largest offering available is the Octuple Bypass Burger, which consists of 4-ounce patties, and comes in an incredible 19,900 calories, and you can eat fries, buttermilk, fat milkshakes, and even unfiltered cigarettes. But if customers opt to not finish their food, they are then smacked with a paddle. And if a customer is able to finish their meal, a burger that's classed as a triple will be yours, but if bypass or higher, they actually get personally pushed out to their vehicle on a wheelchair, and that is why the food is far from healthy. Meanwhile, the restaurant has gained quite the reputation over the years, and it shouldn't come as a surprise that this restaurant also has caught a lot of flack. So be it patrons dying while hammering down burgers or complaints that the nurses are dressed in skimpy outfits, the Heart Attack Grill has received plenty of negative press over the years, and despite the hate, the restaurant continues to attract patrons. Number 2, Trigiani Restaurant. If you happen to live in a big city such as New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, or London, and chances are, you've seen your fair share of pop-up restaurants. In 2018, the owners of Tibet's Trigoni Restaurant made a name for themselves by creating a pop-up restaurant on the face of a mountain located at an altitude of 5,585 meters on Mount Everest's Island Peak area. It's officially the world's highest altitude pop-up restaurant, operated by Indian chef Sanjay Thakura and his team. The restaurant's name means organic nature in Sanskrit. As you might imagine, it's not easily accessible as of now. Potential diners have to make a quick trek to make it to Trigoni, as they must choose between going on a helicopter journey or a mountainous trek, both of which take between 4 to 9 days. And once you arrive at Trigoni, you can expect not just amazing mountain views, but also a feast fit for a king. And that's because diners at the restaurant are treated to an 8-course meal with the following dishes: shishino garlic, Himalayan rolls, dablat fish, salad chicken, and panna cotta, which is being produced with nut milk basa fillets, and a cheese platter. In order to keep the restaurant running, the chefs rely on appliances is powered by solar energy, and must work inside of a tent in order to combat the windy conditions. And according to its founders, the aim behind Trigoyon was to raise awareness to the sustainability of the Himalayas resources through its use of several forged ingredients. And this can cost around $5,600 for a package that includes flights, accommodations, and meals. But mind you, this dining experience isn't for those who lack deep pockets. Number 1. Thermopolis Restaurants. Well, while most modern fast food joints have amenities such as drive-thrus, ice cream machines, deep fryers, and cash registers, the Thermopolia of ancient Rome and ancient Greece were just a tad bit different. Found throughout ancient cities and towns, the word Thermopolium literally translates to a place where something hot is sold, and they truly delivered nothing less. They were typically small storefronts, featuring stone counters, embedded with terracotta jars, making them quite similar to modern hot tables. These hot tables would be filled with all sorts of foods, and some of the most common dishes being roasted nuts, soups, pickles, eggs, ham, wine, and a sort of tomato-free pizza made with cheese and onions. And generally speaking, there were 2 types of people who frequented Thermopolia. The first were the rich, who liked going through a drive-thru, and would quickly pick up a meal as a snack, while the majority of Thermopolia users were in fact the urban poor. This is because the majority of poor workers didn't have enough money to afford a private kitchen at home, but instead, they found it cheaper to simply purchase their meals from a Thermopolium. As many customers who are ready would assume that Thermopolium owners probably made some pretty astounding profits. And if you'd like to see a Thermopolium restaurants for yourself, there are in fact several that have been very well preserved, be it in Pompeii, Herculaneum, or Ostia. There are several spots that is well preserved. Examples of these incredible restaurants is as follows. Maybe when next you visited Italy or Greece, I suggest seeking them out. And if you enjoyed watching today's video and want to see more, please like and subscribe to see more of our videos. Thanks, and see you again in the next video.